Hello everybody, Jake here and welcome to the hobby. It's been a long time since I've given you guys an update on my collection. Not as long as you might think, probably like maybe half a year, maybe a little bit longer than that. But it feels like it's been a long time because the last time I checked on my collection's value, it was right around like, I don't know, like $300,000. And in the past, I would say 6 months, it's doubled in value. My collection's value has doubled in value in the past 6 months, and it's reached a gargantuan number. How sizable is this number? I could pay off my whole entire house mortgage with this number and still have a lot left over. I'll tell you guys, frankly, my house mortgage is $300K, which means if I sell off half of my collection, I would be able to pay off my house, and I would never have to pay a house payment again. Some people say that you'll still have to pay for house taxes, but not having a mortgage at the age that I am, which if you didn't know, I am 33. Not having a house mortgage at 33 is amazing. That's really, really amazing. I'm very lucky and fortunate that I even have the option of doing that. And it's something that I'm seriously considering, you know. I think a lot of people out there, those without a Pokemon card collection, would look at this number and say, "Oi, doy, you dummy. Of course you should sell off your collection, especially if it's only half of your collection, to pay off your house mortgage. Seems like a done deal." But obviously, I'm a collector who's very attached to my collection, and I would be very sad to see most of this go. And a part of me knows that if I have kids down the line, knock on wood, if I do have kids, I think they would be sad to know that I sold half of my collection for this, because I think they would say, "Dad, did you really sell your Mario Pikachu to pay off the house? You know that Mario Pikachu is worth $1 million now?" Obviously, I'm saying that in 30, 40 years. But if they say that, I would say, well, you know, I didn't know that at the time. You know, it's hard to say. I have sold off Mario Pikachus in the past before. I sold off, I think my last Mario Pikachu I sold off when it was right around 5K. And that was quite a while ago. Not as long as some people might think, but now it's gone up to an even crazier number. But before we get into it, I would like to also make a quick shout out to the investing portfolio. If you've been following this series, my God, are these numbers insane, because I started this as an experiment in January of this year, and so far I've dumped around 40,000 into this portfolio, and it's currently worth 72. It's up 67% in April, which is insane because we're 3 months into this investing portfolio and we're up 67%. My goal for the whole entire year was just to be up 50%, and some of these numbers are astronomical. I bought this card in January and it's doubled in value, and it's April, guys. I bought this card right here in February for $750. I bought it for $750 in February, and it's currently going for $1,800. I bought this card right here. I bought this Cramorant for $300. It's currently $900, guys. It's tripled in value in 2 months. The Pokemon card market is still incredibly hot. It's actually insane. The fact that I pretty much made as much, actually I made more than my salary. Like, this investing portfolio since January until April has gone up in value more than what I make in terms of my salary. You guys got to understand how crazy and ridiculous that is, right? Like, this is just doing better than this is like a second me working. That's how crazy Pokemon card investing is. You know, that was a little bit of a side tangent, but it really goes crazy. And you guys can see I might have another portfolio right here, my kids' college fund. So this is something that I started halfway last year. I started this, where I just had a couple of loose booster packs, and I was like, let's just shove all of these loose booster pack into my kids' portfolio collection, and it can grow. So I have this vaulted. This is all completely vaulted, and it's just sitting around. This collection is mainly made up of modern. There's a couple of vintage packs in here, but it's mainly modern. I have 388 Evolving Skies booster packs saved up for my kids. I have 36 booster packs of 151. You can't see it, but we got 36 packs of 151, and we got 80 booster packs of Crown Zenith. It's almost all modern, so it's roughly 500 booster packs, and it's currently worth $23,000. And here's the crazy thing about this kids' college fund collection. It's doubled in value since last year. Sealed has pretty much doubled in values in the past 12 months, which is pretty wild too. That is very wild. But that's a slow climb. Doubling in value in 12 months in the Pokemon world is weenies. Like, that is slow growth, guys. Like, that is incredibly slow growth, because you got to understand, I have cards doubling in value in the past 2 or 3 months. So anything that's doubling in value in 12 months is slow compared to stuff that's doubling in value in 3 months. So yeah, the market is very, very bullish right now, and things are pretty crazy. So I'm going to dive deep into what is actually inside of my collection, what has gone up the most in value, and what do I want to do with it, which I think is an important next step. Before we dive deep into it though, I'd like to thank Buyee for sponsoring today's video. If you haven't checked them out, please check out Buyee today. Buyee is a fantastic service that I've been using for multiple years to purchase Pokemon cards directly from Japan. How Buyee works is that they are an amazing proxy service. You can purchase Pokemon cards directly from the Pokemon Center Japan. You can purchase Pokemon cards directly from eBay Japan using them as a service, and they will hold on to all of the items that you purchase at their warehouse. And so it makes it super easy for me to ship items over here in the US. I have purchased Poncho Pikachus, Mario Pikachus, Scream promos, all kinds of exclusive products. I purchased the Glory of Team Rocket booster boxes from them. I purchased Terastal Festival booster boxes from them just last year during the holiday special, when Terastal Festival boxes from Japan were going for as much as 30 to 40 US dollars. It was very easy to purchase directly from the Pokemon Center because they weren't sold out, and you can really appreciate it because the prices on the yen is incredibly cheap right now. So it's so much more affordable to purchase Japanese booster boxes, and I am a huge champion of buying Japanese boxes because guess what? A Surging Sparks booster box right now is $250. A Stellar Crown English booster box right now is $300. But Japanese booster boxes are still only $50, $60, maybe $70 to $80 if you got some more expensive older ones, but they are incredibly cheap right now. You can rip open 5, 6 Japanese booster boxes before you get into the same price as an English booster box. And guess what happens once you rip 6 Japanese booster boxes? You basically end up with 24 illustration rares and a bunch of special illustration rares. It's worth it to rip Japanese because you get a ton cool art pieces. Check out Buyee today. Click the link down in the description and try them out. I've been using them for years, and they are a very worth it service. Jumping back into my portfolio, some of the items that have been climbing the fastest are the Grail items. I know a lot of people talk about how, you know, there are $5 cards that are jumping to $40 or $50, but the items that are climbing the fastest are still the Grail items, you know. This Mimikyu from Japan, I picked it up when it was $150, and now it's going for $20,000, you know. This Mario Pikachu box I picked up on eBay 8, 9, maybe 10 years ago for around $200. There were boxes that I picked up for even less than that. Some of these Ponchos and Mario Pikachu boxes were going for below $100 at the very initial release. These were very, very cheap. So yeah, the items that are climbing the fastest are actually the Grail pieces, you know. It's actually not the mid-era cards, because a lot of items are still really expensive, you know, like this Latias and Latios card is quite expensive, but I'll tell you, it's climbing at nowhere near the same speed as Japanese promo cards and super, super exclusive cards. And one of the things that I have been seriously pondering is, should I sell off half of my collection to pay off my house? You know, I don't think anyone would disagree with that decision if I were to do it. What would I be willing to let go? How would I sell off half of my collection? I think a lot of people have questions floating around that idea. I know there are a lot of people out there who are saying, hey, you know, Jake, could I sell off my collection to pay off my car? I would love to get a nice vehicle. You could sell off your collection to do that. Could you sell off your collection to pay off medical debt? Or could you pay off your college loans? You know, there are a bunch of different things that you can do with Pokemon cards. And I'll tell you, one of the things is that if you're using that money to pay off debt or to make a meaningful change in your life, it's probably okay and you're probably not going to regret it. I'll tell you what people do regret. They sell off cards and they didn't do anything with the money. The reason they regret it is because that card could have just appreciated in value. A lot of times people will sell off a card just because they feel like selling it off. They base it on calculations or timing the market. And I'm not big on timing the market, you know. I have made some really good pickups in the past where the cards that I bought did climb in value, but that's just me not so much timing the market, but just being aware that there were underrated or undervalued cards in the market. Because I'll tell you, there were plenty of cards that just their value didn't make sense. And once you look down into it, they were going to climb no matter what. Like a Generations Elite Trainer box. I think this box a year ago was going for below $1,000. Oh yeah, look at this, guys. Below a year ago, it was going for less than $1,000. This is a very cool box. It's the 20th anniversary of the Pokemon company. This box should climb. Like, it should be a lot higher based on the market price. And it did climb. So if this was one of the items that I could have called out a year ago, I think it made total sense. In fact, I did think I called this out because there were a bunch of other newer items that were way more expensive than it. It's a very cool ETB. It's the generation set, you know, the original 20th stamp. I understand the whole entire market is climbing, but this is climbing faster than other stuff. And the reason it's climbing faster is because it was undervalued. You know, it was a cheap item at its current market value compared to other things. So it did climb. So that makes sense. There are other items that I think are still very underrated for where they currently stand. And that just depends on, you know, personal opinion. All right, so moving on, let's talk about what would I be willing to sell? How do I shave off $600K off my collection to pay off my mortgage? I would basically shave off the items that I'm most willing to let go of. And I'll tell you what is meaningful to me. I'll tell you the Mario Pikachu is meaningful to me. I would not want to let this go. This Green Mimikyu is meaningful to me. I do not want to let this go. But there are other items that are less meaningful to me, you know? My poncho boxes, I'm actually willing to let go of them. I wouldn't love letting go of them, but I am willing to let go of them. What I recognize now is that sealed products hold a lot less sentimental value than Pokemon cards. Pretty much all of these Pokemon cards, I like the true graded cards, I don't want to get rid of because these are just cool cards and are cool memories inside of my collection because I graded these cards myself, and so that's meaningful to me. But these were just boxes that I bought and they've been sitting around and they are valuable to me in that they are a part of my display. They are appreciating value and I am appreciating them every single day because I get to look at them every single day. So they bring me joy, but I could let them go and be okay, you know. All these sealed products, I'm okay letting go of, you know. I don't want to let go of my blue bottom One Piece boxes because I do believe that this is a gold mine. You know, if like you really wanted to hold on to this is one of those items that are going to guarantee to go up in value because it's the first edition One Piece TCG sealed box. The only way this drops is if the One Piece TCG dies. But if the One Piece TCG dies, then all of the sealed products, regardless of which set you get, is still pretty bad. But this one is kind of impervious to being bad because even if the One Piece TCG die, people will still want the first edition One Piece box, if you understand where I'm coming from. Regardless if the One Piece TCG even becomes defunct and people don't play the TCG anymore, the sealed products of the very first edition will always be collectible. That being said, I am not emotionally attached to these. So if there was something that I'm willing to let go of inside of my collection, it would be something like this. You know, the cards less so, but the sealed products, absolutely. I think I could absolutely see myself letting go of all my booster boxes, a lot of my sealed products. Those hold less sentimental values. And some of the items that I enjoy inside of my collection, you know, I have the complete XY Secret Rare PSA 10 set. I think that's a really cool set, but I don't have a lot of emotional attached to it. I collected this set because it's a challenge and I have these cards on display right now in my background. So they are really, really cool, but I don't hold direct sentimental values to them. So I'm willing to let them go. Again, Evolving Skies is a clear winner. I would hate to let go of Evolving Skies boxes because I do think they are going to climb. But if there was ever something that I could shave off of my collection, it would be those items, the items that I am less attached to. So where do I see the hobby going? I think a lot of people are asking me right now if I expect to see a correction. And, you know, I'm biased. I'm biased because I have a vested interest in my collection not dropping. But I'll tell you right now, all of the signals are telling me that things are going to continue to climb. I don't see a signal that's really telling me things are going to fall off. You know, more people are still collecting, and the people that aren't collecting, it's not because they don't want to collect. It's because they're angry at scalpers, resellers, they're angry at botters, they're angry at the current state of the market. And I think they have a right to be, because who wants to be buying booster boxes for $300, modern booster boxes for $300? So there's a bunch of people sitting on the sideline, and it's not because they want to, you know, they would love to collect Pokemon cards. It's because they can't get into the hobby. So it's very interesting when the hobby has plenty of room to grow. It's just that there's not enough products to meet the demand. So I do think the hobby is going to continue to grow. And here's the crazy thing, you know, let's say the Pokemon company somehow disappears tomorrow, like they fully shut down. I don't think that devalues this collection. This collection almost becomes more valuable if that occurs, because there's no more Pokemon card products. Every single booster box you have sealed is suddenly becoming an extinct species because there's only a limited supply of them, and every single booster box that gets ripped open is one less available on the market. And because of how much frenzy there is around that, even if they literally stop printing Pokemon cards tomorrow, it would just increase the value of everyone's cards. It's very interesting how there's almost like no mechanic that shuts this down, at least right now. There is a foreseeable future where I see people getting bored of Pokemon cards and not wanting to collect it any longer. But as of right now, I literally just came back from a card show, and it was shoulders to shoulders for 6 straight hours. It was held in a community center, absolutely free event, great event. It was the Sin City Card Show. But I'll tell you, there was no wiggle room. There were so many people in the room, they could not fit another person. It almost became a fire hazard, honestly. And that's how popular the hobby is, that in my city of Las Vegas, in a single weekend, there was 3 card shows. We have reached the point where I currently have 3 card shows at my city every single weekend. And the market is still not fully saturated with the amount of card shows that is. And the reason why I say it's not saturated is because it's not sparse. There's still more people that want to go to these shows but can't make it. That's how much demand there is for these shows. And you guys have probably seen all the gripes that people have with vendors, but that's a different story. So yeah, so far over the past 6 months, this collection has basically doubled in value. You can see the collection's value in October, and there was a big skyrocket from January all the way till March. So I started my investing portfolio in January, and yeah, a lot of the cards that I bought from January till March doubled, but you can see my whole entire collections portfolio basically did the same thing. So that's where it basically happened. So I won't say that the investing portfolio is perfect, because it basically did really, really well, but at the same time, the market did really well. So did I just get really lucky in timing the market? Partially. Let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a collection portfolio update. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys next time.